Yep, money, money, money. More now than ever, women are taking control of the money, but their stress is also on the rise. A recent study by Fidelity Investments revealed that during the pandemic, 67% of women became more engaged in managing their finances, while 60% of women said they felt more stressed out about things like health and productivity. So joining me now to break it all down for us is Head of Women Investors at Fidelity Investments, Lorna Kapusta. Pronounce it for me. I tried 3 times.
It's Kapusta, and it's all good because I'm still thinking about those adorable
puppies. I know. Sorry you had to follow that. It's a tough act. But talk to us about this study and why you guys decided to focus on women and their finances.
So we at Fidelity actually focus on women always as an important customer. We want to talk about everybody, but understanding women, how they engage with their money, and how we can help is important. In fact, I had those efforts. And so this study was one, we do studies all the time. What was really interesting is really just understanding women, money, and COVID and those impacts. So no surprise, everybody's stressed.
Right.
But as you said, women are stressing more, and working women in particular, with 4 in 10 actually assessing leaving the workforce.
Really?
So we knew that there were things we needed to understand so we could help.
That is a major impact on families when you see 4 in 10 having to leave the workforce. So we see the study also revealed a number of leading stressors for women. Let's walk through what they are.
Sure. So I don't know if we're going to call something up. The biggest ones that I really talk about are really around the fact that the stress is creating women losing sleep, as well as women putting self-care secondary. So you see all the stats in front of you. But the reality is when we start to think about things of not being as healthy, not sleeping as much, I think about 41% are not sleeping as much. And then, and it really has an overall impact that's not good for family and work. And we know that money stress is a big reason why. And so that's where we focus on how can we help.
Well, a lot of times women get sandwiched in, right? When you have a situation like a pandemic or an economy that's not doing well, a lot of times they're having to leave their jobs in order to care for their children. Now these children are at home, doing virtual learning. And so they're having to decide, can I watch them? Can I care for my children and work, or do I have to leave work to do that? And so there's a number of factors that's causing this. So when it comes down to money, more women, we understand, were getting involved in managing their finances, but that in of itself is very difficult.
It is. So what I would say is that's good news that more women are getting involved in managing their finances. What I think is the concern is the assessment of leaving the workforce, and simply that if you're going to leave, making sure you understand the implications of leaving and what you can do to make up for any of that potential lost income.
Okay, so how do we do that? Because that's key. That's very important what you just said, and we have some numbers on the screen. So how do you make up for that lost income?
So first, what you need to do is understand the implications of that loss. What I would say is before you leave, also 2 things. 1, a lot of companies are offering benefits and flexibility. Look into those. And second, talk to your manager. But if you're in that situation, what we recommend, and you decide to leave, because I understand you get to that point, very easy to do, you can reach out to Fidelity for free and have a conversation so we can walk you through the steps you can take to make sure that you are keeping your money and your goals on track.
All right, so if folks are leaving their jobs, they're being forced to because of the situation, is there a way to prevent that in the sense of maybe reducing some hours, finding alternatives before? I mean, you alluded to that, but give us some of these tangible skills.
Yes, so one, and is really important, is to look at the benefits that your employers are offering. 2 big benefits that are recently being offered, as you mentioned, flexible work hours. There are companies now who are offering also help to find care and sometimes compensation.
Oh, okay.
The second, and really important in particular for women, we often don't ask for the flexibility that we need. It's like how we aren't often negotiating our salary. We talk about that a lot. This is similar. But you'd be surprised these days having that conversation and how flexible managers are to work with you to help they understand, and to help make it work so that you can stay on board through this pandemic.
I think that's really key because a lot of women feel like, no, there is no flexibility. So it's a do or die kind of situation. I either can't do it, or if I do it, something else is going to sacrifice. But it's important to ask those questions. Do you suggest that women look at maybe getting a different type of job? I mean, it's really hard in this economy. We see the jobs numbers every week and they don't look good.
So what I would say to you is that the job numbers have been an issue, and then particularly for women, we're seeing job loss. I think December, women led the way, which is really concerning. With that being said, what I can tell you is you should assess all of your options and what can work for you. Fidelity alone is actually doing some pretty massive hiring. Fidelity does offer jobs that are more flexible, so I can only speak to what I in particular know. But what I would say is, regardless of where your situation is and what you want to do, the fact that women are doing more with their money is going to really help this situation. And one of the things I wanted to mention is we at Fidelity do have regular conversations on a weekly basis that started in this pandemic to talk about money, life, and decisions like this. We call it Women Talk Money. It's a live discussion weekly, judgment-free, jargon-free. And it has been really helpful. We have thousands of women across the country joining us. So please, do that if you're thinking about the situation or want to get more involved in your money.
It is very important, and it's good for women to know that there are resources out there that speak directly to them. And like you say, do your homework. Don't make rash decisions. Think about it before you either decide to leave that job or change it, because there are options out there. We appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Gonna go grab one of those dogs now.
I know, exactly. They're so cute.